Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Everything happens for a reason on soaps, and a recent "if you blinked you missed it" moment on Young and Restless told us exactly how the devious Audra Charles will break up Kyle and Claire without so much as putting a hair out of place. Well, her own hair at least. Audra, of course, has been tasked with coming between lovebirds Kyle and Claire. That is if she wants Victor Newman to fund her new cosmetics company, and she does. But her boyfriend Nate is already suspicious of the mustache's apparent generosity of spirit, given he unceremoniously fired Audra from their last joint venture. He's point-blank asked, "What's in it for Victor?" A question that made his girlfriend twist herself into pretzels to explain without giving away her true assignment. If Audra's caught canoodling with Kyle, it certainly wouldn't bode well for the future of her relationship, which means she has to come up with a way to fulfill her end of the bargain with Victor whilst keeping herself out of hot water. If only she could delegate the responsibility or manipulate someone else into doing her dirty work so she could keep her hands mostly clean. As it turns out, there is a ready-to-mingle single who might just be convinced to do Audra's bidding and who is feeling underappreciated. The person in question may be looking for a challenge, especially if it wins points with Miss Charles. As you may have guessed, we're talking about Holden Novak, Audra's ex from Los Angeles. That "blink and you'll miss it" scene was the one where they discussed his discontent with his boss, and they talked about him possibly working with Audra. But how could he possibly help with the seduction and corruption of Kyle Abbott? Well, chances are he wouldn't have much luck, even if he were willing to attempt such a thing. But if we're thinking outside of the box, as the calculating Audra will surely be, a path to success becomes apparent. Said path would keep Audra's hands clean to the extent that she's merely the mastermind behind what happens, rather than the person carrying out the mission. If our hunch is correct, Audra will convince Holden to put the moves on Claire, while she makes sure Kyle is perfectly positioned to catch them in a compromising position. After all, Holden and Claire have forged a friendship of sorts, so if his foot's already in that particular door, Claire and Holden have bonded over their mutual love of the cocktail he introduced her to. And we imagine it would only take a couple of vespers at the club bar for the charmer to get the inexperienced drinker wrong-footed. All he'd have to do, of course, is make it appear that she is on the verge of cheating. Kyle's found them with their heads together on 2 other occasions, so his mind will do the rest. If Kyle sees Claire with Holden and assumes the worst, the damage will be done and Audra will have accomplished her goal whilst keeping herself out of the messiest part of the plan. She'll get the new company and Nate will be none the wiser. Of course, she'd be indebted to Holden again, but that's another story. Do you think Audra will use Holden to split up Kyle and Claire? Vote. Will Lee and Rs Audrey use Holden to split up Kyle and Claire?